This California State University, this website, Cal State EDU Apply, this will allow you to apply to all campuses. So you don't have to do separate applications to different CSU campuses. This one application is valid for all 23 campuses. And this map here shows you the 23 campuses of the California State University. You see that we go up north Humboldt all the way down south to San Diego, and the little dots indicate the 23 campuses. And each university is different in regards to their expectations, their majors, and their environments. So we highly recommend that you research the various CSUs that you're thinking of applying to. For example, if you want to study marine science, then you would not apply to Humboldt because they do not offer a marine science major. You would apply to CSUMB Monterey Bay because they do offer that major. So it's important to check it out. Make sure that you research. There's a lot of links here that you'll see. This link here. And then we also encourage you that right now, it's difficult to tour campuses in person, so we recommend that you click on the links and take the virtual tours. This link will take you through the 23 campuses. You just select the campus of your choice. The application dates and deadlines, CSU campuses are currently accepting applications for the fall 2021 term, and it's going through December 4th, 2020. To be eligible for a CSU, there is some criteria you need to have. These are the subjects, the areas. It's what we call A to G, and it is 15 courses. We see the number 15 here of the different subjects here that you need to complete, and you need to earn a grade of a C or better for each course, so you can meet that requirement for a CSU. Another requirement for admission is a GPA. In previous years, the GPA to be eligible for CSU was a 3.0. For fall of 2021 admission, the GPA is 2.5 for the CSU. So this fall of 2021, this is new for fall of 2021, 2.5.
Just a quick note, Ms. Flores, I think there's a typo on that one because the minimum GPA was a 2.0. So this year they raised it to a 2.5.
2.5. Oh, yes, you're right. Thank you. We'll fix that, guys. This is going to be posted on your Google Classroom. So also the CSU testing requirements has been on hold. This California State University has suspended the ACT, SAT examinations for CSU campuses for the 2021-2022 academic year. And this applies only to fall 2021 that we know of, okay? And there's more links, as we've said here, admissions links for the ACT, SAT examinations. When you're ready to complete your application for the CSU, be sure to have this application checklist on hand. You're going to need your unofficial transcripts, your test scores, if available, but they're on hold and they're not required. But it's if you want, if available. Your social security number, if you have one, your citizenship status, method of payment. Some of you guys may be paying for the application fees. Your parents' citizenship status, annual income, your parents' employment background, and 2 recommendations if you're applying for the EOP program. And then California statewide student ID. Every K-12 student has a student ID, so the number should be printed on your transcript. So the CSU system offers a non-resident tuition exemption. It's available for certain non-resident students, including U.S. citizens, permanent residents, and undocumented individuals who have attended, graduated, or achieved the equivalent from a California school. These students may be exempted from paying the non-resident tuition, which is pretty high. So, but you must classify as a non-resident. So for more, that you need to do the affidavit, the affidavit for this, and for that you would click here where it's in blue here, click here for the tuition exemption form. And there's some documents in there that go into more detail as well, and they tell you what is it that, what constitutes you as a non-resident for the tuition exemption. Okay. And then the EOP program, you're going to have the opportunity in your application, you're going to have the opportunity to apply for EOP. The program is geared towards low-income educational disadvantaged students, and it provides admission, academic, and financial assistance to the students. In addition, the EOP students receive ongoing advising, tutoring, mentoring, and workshops. And these workshops are designed to increase the student retention and graduation rates. And again, you'll see throughout this workshop, throughout the slides, you'll see there's a bunch of links for you guys. And we do recommend that you guys click on these links because they're very helpful. And then when it gets to the part of applying for your application fee waiver, when you get to that part, keep in mind, each campus you apply to is $70. So if you apply to multiple campuses, you will still have, you'll just have to multiply that times the 70 times how many campuses you apply for. With an application fee waiver, you can apply to up to 4 CSU campuses at no charge, basically. So if you qualify for that, based on the questions that you get asked throughout your application, when you get to this part, that's where you'll know if you have to pay or not, or how much the fee will be. So here's an example. At the bottom, this student applied for 2 CSUs, so 2 times 70 is 140, okay? And you will see on the check my fee waiver status link on the submit application tab to determine whether you're eligible for application fee waiver or not, okay? The eligibility criteria for fee waivers, again, here's a link for more information on fee waivers, but the basic eligibility criteria is undergrad student, California resident for more than 1 year, U.S. citizen, or someone without lawful immigration status who qualifies for AB 540. Applicants who are eligible for the application fee waiver, again, may apply to up to 4 CSU campuses, and approved waivers are not transferable. And then CSU does not accept College Board fee waivers or any kind of external waiver form. It's only in when you get to this right here, when you get to the application fee waiver window, that's the only place that you will know if you have a fee waiver or not, okay? Some mistakes to avoid so that you don't run into not getting one is be aware of these common mistakes. Is if you report yourself as a dependent applicant with the family size of 1, if you report the same dollar amount in the adjusted gross income field as well as the untaxed income field, and if you select none in answer to what is the U.S. state possession do you regard as your permanent home. So applicants who incorrectly report any of the items above will not be granted the application fee waiver. And again, here's more links on application fee waiver checklist. This checklist has questions and it has other stuff you can look at to avoid the common errors. When you begin this, you can click here for this presentation here that you can see. It is very detailed. It is extremely detailed. So you can look on here. We condensed some information. We gave you like the most important parts. Ms. Leiva and Ms. Saldaña will be presenting as well, and they'll be giving you more information. But if you click on here later, if you want to go back, this is where you can find the full Cal State presentation. So when you are ready to apply, you will be going to the calstate.edu apply. You will type that in your web browser, and you will get to this page. It will look like this. You need to make sure you select Fall 2021 in the drop menu. And when you select it right here and you click apply, you're going to go to a window that looks like this. When you go to this window is where you will create your account, your CSU account. So make sure that you remember your username and password once you create it, because then you will sign in. So please be sure to remember your username and password. And there that's how, there you go. Thank you. And now Miss Leva will take over.
So, hi everyone. I'm Miss Leva. I'm one of the counselors here at North Salinas High School, and we're just super excited that all of you joined us today. We were worried we were only going to have Mr. Perryman hanging out with us, but so we're super excited that you all are here. And so, make sure you guys checked in. There's the link for the sign-in sheet in the chat. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself or put it in the chat. We have folks monitoring the chat. So I'm going to actually go into several of the key parts 1 and 2 of the application. So once you've created your account, you get this extended profile. And just a couple of things to point out is all of you are working towards your first bachelor's degree, and then in the which best describes your status, you're going to put that you're a graduating high school senior or equivalent, and then have you taken or earned college credits through community college. For those of you that have taken concurrent enrollment or dual enrollment, you're going to want to check yes here, okay? If you did concurrent enrollment and did PE and you're thinking like, oh, you shouldn't report that, just report that, okay? Go ahead and add it. As well. Any work that you did in community college. This 4 doesn't necessarily apply to you, but what U.S. state or possession do you regard as your permanent home? This is where you want to definitely make sure that you put California, okay? The next thing you're going to do is select your campus and your program. So you can literally just click the plus sign if you, for example, want to study agricultural business at Bakersfield. You can literally just hit the plus and that will add your program, okay? So this is where you add your campus and the majors that you want to go to. And then it's going to ask you to review your programs. So I added, in this example, I added Bakersfield, undergraduate English, language, and literature. It reminds me of the deadline. It tells me that it costs $70, that I have 0 applications submitted. And it's not, I'm not being asked to pay right now. It's just reviewing the programs with me. So once that looks right to you, then you just hit continue to my application. And then you get to the part where you can see the 4 quadrants, okay? And I'm gonna actually show you, the CSU has a dummy account, which I created a dummy. And so it's gonna look like this. Once you've logged in, it's gonna look like this. So the way to navigate through this is you have my application here at the top. This is where you can add additional programs if you want to. So literally I just check the plus, but you can use the search bar. This is where you submit your application. And this is where you can check the status, okay? So your 4 quadrants, I'm gonna go over these 2 and Ms. Aldana is gonna go over the last 2, okay? So don't skip this last program materials one. I know it looks like it's complete, like that it might be completed, but there's always important information about the majors that you're applying to and the campuses that you're applying to. Once this little bar, this little circle thing is green, it typically means you're done, okay? So in the first section, you're going to complete the biographic information. There are questions about sexual orientation, gender expression, and identity, and those always stump students because they're like, I don't know what to answer. Well, gender nowadays isn't really male or female. That's what they call a traditional binary gender identity structure, but people don't really think about gender in that way anymore. So, you know, you could identify as pansexual or, you know, asexual or whatever. So just answer to the best of your ability. If you have questions, reach out to a counselor. And then you're also going to need your SSID, which you can find on your transcript here. Obviously, this is a fake one, but you can find it there. Okay. Contact information. Make sure that you complete this information correctly. And you know what? I'll stop right here and just remind you guys that this is a college application. Okay. So you're not texting your buddy. You're not, I don't know, posting something in social media. You want to capitalize your first and last name. You want to capitalize street names, cities, states. You want to use proper punctuation, grammar, proper English throughout your application, because this is what you're presenting to the admissions committee. So make sure that you are indicating, if some of you might have a different mailing address than you have a physical address. So make sure you're indicating where you want your mail correspondence to go. Some of you have a different permanent address than your current address. Like maybe your family gets all your email at your grandma's house, but you live somewhere else. So just keep in mind that we want to make sure that you put the address where you get your correspondence, your paper mail. So this citizenship and residency information section is pretty important because even though it's not used to determine admissions, whether you're a citizen, permanent resident, documented, undocumented, DACA, dreamer, it doesn't matter as far as admissions is concerned, but it is important for them to know because your application may require additional details and information as well. They might be able to offer you additional supports if they find that you're a student that would benefit from that. So it's important to pay attention to this section. So the citizenship question is going to ask you if you're a U.S. citizen born in the U.S., a permanent resident, which means you hold a green card as it's commonly known, or none. You have no U.S. citizenship. Some of you might be refugees depending on your country of origin. Others of you might be on visas, but that's very few of you. Our experience is that most of you fall within that first 3 bullets. Okay. So remember where you, at the beginning of the application, you indicated, that you regarded California as your state, your home state. So the U.S. state you regard as your permanent home, just fill in the earlier part of the application. So in here, you'll be prompted to answer, do you claim California residency? And like 99% of you are going to put yes. Whether you're a citizen, not a citizen, or a permanent resident, you're going to claim California residency. And then it asks you if you lived in California continuously since birth. If you were born in California and have lived here since birth, you're going to put yes. And this is going to be your birthday. So for me, I would answer this yes. And I would put March 03/24/19, none of your business. Anyways, I thought that was funny. So that's what you're going to do. If you haven't lived in California continually since birth, you're going to put no, and you're going to put the month, date, and year that you came here. A lot of you don't remember, so you may have to ask your parents. And it doesn't have to be like an exact science. Like some kids are like, I know I came in January of 97 or 2000. You guys weren't even born in 97. In, I don't know, whatever year you were born, 2006 or 2008 or 2010. So just put the month and the 03/01/2000, for example. Or no, not 2000, because you'd be 20. But 2010, for example. When you go into the first quadrant, for example, like we've actually covered the biographic information, the contact information, the citizenship and residency information. And when you actually get into the actual sections, you're going to be able to toggle back and forth. You're going to be able to toggle back and forth between these, like just by clicking here. Okay. And it's the same with each quadrant. Okay. So just pointing that out. Okay. So next slide. Race and ethnicity. Again, this section is not used to determine eligibility for admissions. It's irrelevant, right? But this information can be used to provide additional support. If, for example, you're an underrepresented population in the CSU system, which typically maybe like some Asian Pacific Islander students, African American students, Pretty soon, us Latinos will not be underrepresented in colleges. More and more of us are going to college every year. So that's always a good thing, okay? Parent and guardian information. There's going to, in a couple slides, I'm actually going to go into, in a couple slides, I'm actually going to go into dependent and independent and how that's determined. But if you're a dependent student, you must enter at least one parent or guardian's information in this section. If you're considered independent, you can opt out of this section, and I'll go over a little bit about what the difference is between the two. So social security numbers, it's so important that you type it in correctly. If you do not, it could delay your application. If you do not have a social security number at all, you're going to enter zeros. If you have a DACA, a social security number as a result of being a DACA recipient, then you can enter that social security number. So you would know if you're DACA because you'd have a temporary green card, you'd have a social security number that's for non-work purposes. And so if you're a DACA student, make sure you connect with your counselor because there's a few nuances in the application that are super duper important for you to make sure you get right. So connect with your counselor if you're a DACA, Dreamer, or undocumented student, okay? Financial and parental information. This information, again, is not used for financial aid eligibility. This has nothing to do with the FAFSA or the California DREAM Act. It's used for the purposes of the fee waiver. It's used for the purposes of determine whether you qualify for EOP. So these two are not connected. You have to read the section that's head of household income and size information, carefully answer all the questions in this section. And then the questions that you're gonna get, I'm gonna exit the presentation mode here and show them to you. So these would be the questions that you would get. So if you look on here, I pasted them on here. So these would be the questions that if you answered yes to any of these questions, you would be considered independent. So for example, as of today, are you married? Do you currently have or will you have children or dependents who will receive more than half of your support from you between July 1st, 2020 and June 30th, 2021? Does someone other than your parent or step-parent have legal guardianship over you? So these are some of the questions that you need to evaluate if you would answer yes or no to. Most of you, like literally 99% of you, will answer no to all of those questions. And so you will be considered a dependent. If at least one of those applies to you, then you are considered independent and do not have to provide parental information. So academic history, this is a big one, right? Because this is where you're going to add your schools, your colleges, and all your coursework. Okay. And if I can, I'm going to show you live in the dummy application how to do some of the stuff. Okay. So to the high schools you attended, to add your high school, I'm actually, let's just go ahead and let me show you. So high schools attended. So you guys can all see me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you go here, you add a high school, and United States already pops up. And then so you just type in Salinas. Salinas. And then it's going to give you schools in Salinas, California. You pick that. And it's going to give you all the high schools in Salinas, California. And then you're going to pick North High. And then your dates of attendance, I did put them in the presentation. They're August 2017 to May 2021. So then you go ahead and pick that. Oh, where are you? August 2017 and May 2021. And then you select your term type, which is semester, and you save the school. Now, if in your freshman year you went to Alvarez or you went to Gonzalez High or you went somewhere else, you're going to add that school as well, just like I did with North High. So graduation status, you're going to select that I have or will graduate with my high school diploma, and the date is going to be May 2021. Academic information, select no unless you have attempted another high school, secondary school, and it was outside of the U.S. So this does apply for our international gentlemen. Colleges attended. Again, you're going to add colleges. How many of you in the chat, or unmute yourself, have courses from Hartnell? So whatever community college you attended or took courses in, you're just going to add the college. The way this works is you add the schools first, and then you add the courses after. So if you don't add the college, you're not going to be able to add the Hartnell course. So you want to make sure that you are adding the college in this section. Okay?
Ms. Leiva?
Uh-huh.
For the students who took classes at Hartnell, if you don't know the exact name of the course that you took at Hartnell, you can always go to your PAWS account and view your unofficial transcript through your PAWS account, and it will give you the course name, the class that you took. So I know that I've been getting a lot of emails, students requesting their transcript, but you can get that unofficial transcript through your PAWS account. If you don't know how to gain access to it, then just go ahead and email me and I can walk you through it.
Yeah. Any one of us can walk you through how to log into your PAWS account and view an unofficial transcript. So make sure you connect with your counselor if that's an issue for you. So here's where you would add the college and add the Hartnell is a semester program, a semester college. So you would indicate the term type here as well. Okay. High school coursework. This section is so important, right? Because this is what the colleges are going to use to determine whether they will admit you or not. So you cannot don't treat this section lightly. And as a matter of fact, I recommend that you do not submit your application until you have your counselor look at this section to ensure that it's properly completed, okay? It doesn't need to take long. Like I can look at it in 5 minutes and look like, oh yeah, it looks fine. So, but don't overthink this, okay? What should you report? All high school courses used to satisfy A through G requirements. The only one you wouldn't necessarily include is PE, because even our health class, our year-long health class, is A through G approved now. If you happen to have middle school coursework in math or foreign language, you can include that as well here. But that's not very many of you. So what you're going to do is you're going to begin by adding a grade level. So on your transcript, you start with 9th and then work your way up through 12th, right? So I would recommend that you start with 9th grade, select the school that you attended for that grade, select the academic year, and it's on your transcript. It'll say 17-18 or 18-19, 19-20, and then 20-21. Once you've entered that information, click the green check mark, and then you will be repeating this for all the grade levels, okay? If you are adding summer grades because you took, like many of you I know took Math 2 between 9th and 10th grade, so that's where you would add your Math 2 course, okay? Is the summer between 9th and 10th grade. So once you do that, where you add the grade, the high school, and the year, it's going to look like this little bar up here. This little pencil is to edit, and this little trash can is to delete. So then now you're going to go and add all your A through G courses one by one for that grade level. If your course was not AP or honors, just select none. Keep in mind that our Math 2 and Math 3, like Math 1 Advanced, Math 2 Honors, Math 3 Honors, aren't necessarily A through G approved for honors. You get the extra point locally here for our high school, but not for your A through G GPA. So there's some courses that are approved for honors and there's some that are not. So if you have questions or doubts, connect with your counselor about about those, okay? But what you would do is just kind of type the first few letters of the course, and then it's going to give you a drop-down menu where you're going to see all the different courses that would apply to you. So you start with your English, whatever's on your transcript, follow along your transcript and enter all the grades, and then continue to add all the applicable courses for that grade level. When you finish that grade level, you can add another grade level or add a summer course. And then again, once you've done all of that, make sure you're hitting save and continue. I want to stop here and just see if there's any questions.
Ms. Leyva, we have a question.
Yes.
The question is, what if I have an English GATE class?
So if you have an English GATE class, it falls into the same information. It falls into the same category as honors. Our GATE classes are not considered honor courses in the eyes of the A through G, of the UC and CSU A through G. So even though you get a grade bump here, you're not going to get, you know, the grade bump there. And let me see if I can actually academic information. Let me see, high school coursework. So let's add a grade level. 9th, North Salina, 17, 18. I'm hitting that check. And so let's see what comes up when I type in English. So you'll see English 9 GATE. You'll see English 9. You'll see this Edmentum is online. English 9 TR. So you'll find the classes you need. You just have to play around with it. It's a little finicky, but you saw that even Ms. Leyva struggled, but it's there. Okay, so you would just select the course type. It is not an honors course, so you would put none, and then you'd put your grades. Select your grade from here, and then you're gonna, once you enter your grades, you're gonna get a, here, let me see. Ms. Leyva was okay in English, and then you just add an and you're gonna edit. You can edit. You can add the next course, the course type, the next grades. Click the green check, and it's going to give you another box, and you just add all your courses that way. Okay.
And
any other questions?
Another question: how do we get our transcripts?
So you can call the school and ask for the counseling secretary. She can get you a PDF copy of your transcript. You can email us requesting a copy of your transcript, and we will send you a PDF of your unofficial transcript.
And we have another question. And the question is, will we have to input our spring 2021 schedule? I believe that's the next slide, Ms. Leyva, the planned courses.
No, but I can show you. I can show you that in the dummy application that you would say this was 12th grade. Here, let's add a grade level. Here's 12th grade. North Salinas High, and the year is 2021, right? So I've added another grade level. And so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to type expository. Let's say math. What's up? This thing is so finicky. Okay. This is a dummy application, so I don't know if that's what the issue is, but when you're gonna fill in your fall and spring, so you're gonna put periods 1, 3, and 5 as in progress. In progress. In progress. And then you're going to put periods 2, 4, and 6 as planned. Does that make sense? Because periods 1, 3, and 5, those 3 classes are in progress. Those classes are currently in progress. And then you're going to put 2, 4, and 6 because those are planned for next term. Does that make sense? Can I get some thumbs up, some unmuted folks telling me if that makes sense to them?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you are going to enter your 12th grade, especially because you have like your senior English. Some of you might be taking chemistry for your physical science. Some of you may be taking other graduation requirements or other A through G courses that you want to highlight. So definitely you're going to put all of that in there. Okay. Any other questions?
The other question, Ms. Leyva, is what about my government and economics class? How do I enter that?
So you're going to enter those as, let me see if this thing has stopped being finicky. Again, this is a dummy application, so don't put too much weight in it. So you're going to put government, and it's going to give you a drop down, and you're going to add it. And then you're going to put whether it's AP or not. And then, so say you're taking that, say you took that in learning cycle 1, like you just finished Gov, right? So if you just finished Gov, you probably know your grade, right? Am I wrong? Am I right? I'm right? So you should probably know your grade if you did Gov, right? So you would put a fall here, and then you would just leave this blank. Or no grade. No, yeah, just leave it blank. Because the system knows, the CSU knows, because in the UC course list, we listed that course as a semester course. So you would not put anything here. And then you just, you're going to get a green check and you would just check that off. And then for econ, you would put econ here. And then because you are going to be in econ, you're going to put that as in progress, or you are in econ, you would put it. And you would leave the fall blank and in progress in the spring. Did that make sense?
So in order to answer, the reason why you would put that you're in progress in the government class is because you're currently in the class right now. It's not being planned, you're actually in the class. So it would be in progress.
Yeah. So let's
Did that answer your question, Naida?
So it would look like this. I'm taking advanced placement, and so I'm going to put no grade here, and then I'm going to put in progress. If I'm taking it right now, if I'm not taking it right now, if I'm going to take it next term, right, it's going to be a second, fourth, or sixth period, then I would put fall planned, no grade, and then no grade here, and then planned here, right? Because you take government first, and then you take economics. Does this make sense? If this part didn't make sense, if you guys are stuck with government and economics and how to enter semester courses versus year-long courses, do your best. But again, what did I say at the beginning? Make sure a counselor looks at this before you submit. Not your cousin who went to college 10 years ago, but a counselor who goes to a training every year to know how to do this. And if they don't know, they know who to call. Okay? Does that make sense? There is the applicant help center here on your application when you're applying, so that if you do run into issues, you can always use that as a resource. But we do encourage you to make sure to have your counselor review this to make sure that you've done it properly. Any other questions with regard to entering high school coursework? If this gov piece didn't make sense, please reach out to us, guys, okay? Okay, again, it's very similar. College coursework is entered in a very similar fashion, but Ms. Aldana did mention that if you are not sure of the name of the course, you can refer to your PAWS account to review an unofficial transcript and get that information for you. The A through G matching, this is also a very, very important section. Because this is what they use to determine if you've actually met the minimum A through G requirements. So earlier I had a student who didn't have intermediate band, wasn't on the course list. So she had to manually enter the course, and the A through G matching section didn't know where that would go. Was that a fine art? Was that a foreign language? So we had to go into the A through G matching to manually indicate that it was a fine art so that it would look as though she's met the minimum requirements. So it's important that the years column, that you note that the years column shows you how many years you reported for the subject, okay? So this years column is going to show you how many years of history did you take? How many years of math did you take? How many years of English did you take? These parentheses down here, that's the minimum number of years that you're supposed to have according to the A through G requirements. So this box should match this box. Does that make sense? If your boxes don't match, if your years don't match, then connect with your counselor because they're going to have to go in and help you figure out what the issue is, okay? They use this section to determine admission. So it's super important that if you don't have 2 years of history or 4 years of English, something's wrong and you need to connect with a counselor so that we can fix it together. Any questions about this piece?
Ms. Leyva, we do have 2 questions regarding when do we go back and input our second semester grades?
So you do not input second semester grades. What will happen is that the CSU will contact you with whether they want to see second semester grades, because that is something that they will be doing this year, is potentially looking at a student and saying, you know, they look like a really good candidate, but I really want to see their second semester grades. So you're going to have to be constantly monitoring your email address and your physical mail, particularly your email, to see if the CSU, like if I apply to Bakersfield, I'm going to be looking out for emails from Bakersfield or from other colleges that I apply to, because they may be asking me to send in, income verification or transcripts, or they want to clarify something about my application, or there's a housing deadline coming up, or there's orientation information that I need to look at. So if they want to see your second semester grades for purposes of admission, they will send you an email saying, please submit your transcript with first semester grades, and then you'll submit those. Second semester grades, you won't actually ever enter into your application because what they do is they want a final transcript. Once you've selected the campus, once you said, yes, I'm going to send my statement of intent to register to Bakersfield, and that's where I'm going. Once you've done all the steps, right, to complete your matriculation process, one of those steps is going to be to submit a final transcript at the end of the school year. And those do have deadlines. So sometimes it's June 30th, sometimes it's July 15th. That's why it's so important for you to monitor your emails and double, triple check emails. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Anybody else? Any other ones?
Something very important as well, to always include a personal email and not your school email, because your school email will be deactivated.
There's another question on, is government econ part of this section?
Government and economics are both A through G approved courses, so you would list those in the appropriate grade level. And yes, they would be included. Economics is considered a G course and government is considered an A course. So they're going to go in different parts. And so, for example, with history, normally our students have 2.5 years. They have world history, US history, and a semester of government. But yes, you would report government and economics in your 12th grade in here, where you add all your courses. And all your A through G courses need to be reflected in the matching section. If they don't, like I said, then we have an issue and you should have a counselor look at it. So again, standardized tests are this year, the CSU and the UC are both test optional, meaning that the SAT or ACT scores are not part of the admission decision-making process. So they won't be used for admission purposes, but if you happen to have scores, you can provide them, okay? You also make sure there is a section for AP. If you have AP scores, if you plan to take the AP tests, it is important that if you are in AP that you plan to take the AP test. It doesn't look great if you're taking 4 AP classes and not taking any of the AP tests. So please do consider that as you're moving forward in the year. Okay, and that's the end of my section. I'm going to be turning it over to Miss Saldaña if there's any last minute questions. Okay, Miss Saldaña, it's all yours.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, Miss Saldaña.
All righty. So I will be reviewing the third quadrant, and the third quadrant is the supporting information. And basically what this is that you will be answering questions regarding educational programs that you have participated in high school. You will also be answering questions regarding work, employment, and any extracurricular activities that you have participated in and or community service. So the responses that you include in this section may be used as supplemental criteria to make the fall 2021 admission decisions. When you come across this section, you will select yes or no to indicate your involvement in the programs that they list. If you worked during the last 12 months, you need to report how many hours you work per week. And if you participated in any extracurricular activities, you will also need to include the average of hours that you completed per week. Now, I'm sorry, let's go back to the programs, the educational programs that they're going to be asking you about. If you participated in AVID or if you participated in Upward Bound, this is the place where you would indicate that yes, you did participate in those educational programs. Does anybody have any questions regarding this section? Okay, so let's move right along to the next one. You will also be asked if you're interested in participating in the Educational Opportunity Program. I would highly recommend for all of you to say yes to this section because if you are admitted to the program, great. If not, then they will let you know that you did not meet the eligibility criteria. But basically, again, in reviewing what Ms. Leyva or Ms. Flores mentioned, that it is a special admissions program that is available for students that are low income and first college generation students. If you are admitted to this program, then you would be receiving academic support, financial support, and ongoing advising and tutoring. So again, I highly recommend for all students to participate in this program, and hopefully you will say yes. If you say yes, that you're interested in participating in EOP, you will be asked a series of questions, questions regarding your parents, their financial aid status, personal questions as well. And in this section, you will also be asked to identify 2 individuals who you are asking to provide a recommendation, to give you a recommendation letter. And you will need to include their email address. So once you input the email address, the recommender will then get notified that you are asking for a letter of recommendation, and the recommender will then either accept the email or not. But you do need to have their email address ready when you are ready to include that information onto your application. Does that make sense? Okay, so then When you are at this section, it's going to ask you, do you wish to apply to the EOP program? And hopefully you will say yes. And then you are then going to come to the section 4, the quadrant 4. Now this one is pretty tricky because sometimes the circle is going to be all green and you might think that this section is already complete, but it's very important that you do not skip this quadrant because you do need to click on it and check to see if they are asking additional questions regarding the programs that you have applied to. So when you come to this section, again, even though maybe perhaps it says that it's completely green right here, but you still need to click on it to see if they're asking you any additional questions, and you will know if they're asking for you to answer questions by checking these boxes right here. So if you see that there is a red box and it reads questions, it's very important that you click on it and that you answer the questions that are in that box. Okay, so
Miss Aldana, I'm sorry to interrupt. I can show them real quick on here because I actually think the red boxes is something we did.
Okay.
So like in this one, it doesn't show it because obviously this is a fake one that I did where it says home. It just says home, but if it had questions, it would appear like a different tab right here that says questions. Okay. So they don't have the red boxes because I think that's us just highlighting like what it would look like. But just so you know, you always want to make sure that you go in here and as Ms. Aldana pointed out, just read through all the information and make sure that there are no additional questions that you might need.
Because if you don't answer the questions, it won't allow you to proceed with the application. So you need to make sure that you always click where the tab question is at. Alrighty, so then my application, once all of the quadrants are in green, then that lets you know that you have completed your application. But if the circles here are not green, then that means that you still need to go back and continue working on your application. So this is how you would know. If they're all green, then you are ready to submit. But keep in mind that before you submit, you need to check the total fees. How much will you be required to pay? You want to check as well if you qualified for a fee waiver. Please remember that no changes after submission. So it's imperative that you review your application completely before submitting it. And then if you review the summary page carefully, note any warning messages and anything that is in red text. So if you notice that there is some information that is missing, or if you want to go back and edit, always keep in mind that the gray bar that is here will allow you to edit. So all you have to do is you go back to the section that you would like to edit or the section that you still need to complete. Does that make sense? So always check the gray bars because that's going to let you know if you're missing something, or if you want to go back and edit, then you know that you can always click in the gray bar.
And guys, this is in the summary page before you submit your application.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any questions?
Ms. Aldana, we did have a question that I answered in the chat, but I think it's important for you to answer for everybody. Who has to be the recommenders? And I'm assuming, Anna, that you referred to EOP. So I don't know if you want to address them.
So we would highly recommend for someone who's able to report back on your academic progress in school. Like it could be one of your teachers, it could be a counselor. We certainly want someone who's going to be able to provide information regarding your academic work. So then once you've reviewed your application, you reviewed it completely, it's all complete, then that's when you would be ready to submit. And you would be able to click Submit All. And then again, make sure that you regularly check your email. I highly recommend that you use a personal email and that you always review that email on a daily basis, because the CSU system will be communicating with you via that email. So make sure that you always check that email. You can log back into your Cal State Apply application after submitted, but may only update limited information. And also, please keep in mind that we will be available for Saturdays to help you complete your CSU, your UC, your financial aid application. Maybe you need assistance with your CATA application, whatever you need help with, whether it's a college application, financial aid, housing. We are going to be available to help you make this process much easier. Our first Saturday is going to take place this Saturday, 10/17, from 12 to 2 p.m. There is a Google Meet link attached to this flyer, and all you need to do is click here. But please keep in mind that we are here to help you out. We highly recommend that you do reach out to your counselor before you submit your application so that we could review that you did do it correctly.
Yeah, so for you, Mijo, you would have to change your country. And let's see. You might have to sit with your counselor to go through, and you'd put your city here, and let's say it's Guadalajara, because I'm from Jalisco. Yeah, so see, it gives you schools in Guadalajara. And because you're more than likely going to be considered an international student, I would suggest you sit with your counselor and go through this process with them, schedule an appointment, okay? What you do is you provide a teacher, counselor, mentor, an email for that person, and they get an electronic letter of recommendation. So they can upload it, I believe. I think they fill out a questionnaire. When you go to the EOP, when you go to quadrant 3, which is the supporting information, and you go to EOP, it's gonna talk you through a whole series of questions. You say yes, you want to apply to EOP, and it's gonna talk you through a series of questions. And then once you hit save and continue, it's gonna take you to the place where you would eventually enter the emails for your recommenders. I'm not gonna go through that here, but you would eventually get to that place in that section. I think there's a limit. Yeah, Ms. Aldana, I believe there's a limit. Is that correct?
Right. In previous years, it has only been 2. You could certainly have the information ready if you are able to input an additional one, but in previous years, it has only been 2 recommenders.
They're the same in terms of they're from 12 to 2, and it's the same Google link. They're all 12 to 2 in the same Google link. It's just 4 different Saturdays, but any of those Saturdays, we're available to help you with anything like college and financial aid and scholarship related. It can be Hartnell, it could be CSU, it could be UC, privates, out of state, Common App, anything college related, financial aid, scholarship related, we're there to help you.
Highly encourage you to come to our first one. So just in case if you don't get to finish it on this Saturday, then you'll always have the following Saturday. And if you don't finish it on the 24th, then you'll always have the 14th to finish it, right? It does take it takes approximately 2 to 3 hours to complete. So if you allow yourself time, then I would highly recommend that you do attend at the beginning versus just waiting till the end.
And it could be that you started on your own and you're stuck somewhere and you just have a quick question. It could be that you want to start it while we're in the Google Meet together and just work quietly in the background and only pop up when you have a question. It could be that you want us to look over your A through G, high school and college coursework, or your A through G matching. Or you want us to review your answers to the EOP questions. It could be anything. We're going to be available. And Nayeli asked about the SAT being optional, like it's not going to change. It will not change, Nayeli. They already publicized that, like all over the state. So they can't come back and ask you for an SAT later. So it's completely test optional. And that will not change for this class, for the 2021 class. When do we have to complete the application? Anna is asking. Anna, the deadline is December 4th, and it has been open since October 1st. We do not recommend you wait till December 4th at midnight because
no,
you're gonna run into some technical difficulties because everyone and their mamas is gonna be trying to submit on December 4th. So usually, sometimes the website crashes. So we do not recommend you wait till December 4th, but you do have until then.
Joanna is asking, so will it still be test optional for 2022?
So they haven't announced that. My educated guess is that after this year, they're maybe going to do another year of test optional. And then after that, they're going to go test blind, which means that they won't even accept your SAT or ACT fee scores. So, yeah. But they have not announced for fall of 2022 what they will do. As soon as we know, we will let you know.